Today in the studio, folks, I've got a real treat for you. Barb Allen. If you haven't met Barb Allen yet, you will want to follow her and you will love listening to what you're about to hear. Well, I don't know if you'll love it. You might even get enraged, actually. So Barb Allen is the head writer, commentator, and co-founder of American Snippets. If you guys haven't heard American Snippets Podcast, I'd stop what you're doing right now. You can always come back to this episode. Go and download American Snippets and subscribe, especially if you're a patriot. But it all started back when your husband was literally murdered by another soldier in the armed forces.
Yeah, that's what sent me down the path that brought me.
Pull that a little closer to you.
All right. That's what sent me down the road that I guess, led to where I am today. That's what put me here ultimately.
So it's almost like that's what sparked it. Now, for people listening, your husband, Lieutenant Lewis Allen, was literally murdered by another soldier. The guy pleaded guilty and was still acquitted. I don't get it. How's that happen?
Every time I get those few sentences out, people look at me like I'm crazy, or they just dismiss me like you must just be some grieving, angry widow, because that would never happen, right? Like that would never happen. First, they're in disbelief that an American soldier would kill another American soldier, as was I, until I got a firsthand experience of it. And then I dug into other cases and learned that it's really not as rare as it would appear to be.
And we're not talking about friendly fire.
No,
we're
not friendly
talking about
fire.
Intentional murder
In a combat zone. And so then we had a 3.5 year court martial. Now I'm just a wife. My husband was National Guard. He was a high school teacher and a coach. We had 4 little kids. They were 6'5", 3 and 1 year old at the time. And he goes off to Iraq on Memorial Day in 2005. And I'm just starting to kind of get the swing of it. I'm just starting to stop being kind of a little bitch about him being gone and feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm going to rock this deployment. I'm going to reorganize the house. I'm going to lose my baby weight. I'm going to make this money. I was a realtor at the time. I'm just going to make him so proud of me. And we're going to get through this and then live happily ever after. But just 10 days after he left, my doorbell rang at 6:00 in the morning, and there's the military detail there on my door to tell me that my husband had been killed the night before. And so, you go from a wife, a mom, going about your business, and then everything just drops like that. And within 24 hours, my casualty assistance officer is what's assigned to you in the military. It's like your chaperone to walk you through all the process of becoming a widow, I guess. And so he came back to tell me that it was actually a homicide investigation now, that they were investigating an American soldier for killing my husband and the commanding officer, who was Lou's friend, Captain Philip Esposito.
He died too?
Yes. And so then you just don't really know, you're already sort of jacked up and you're already broken and down. And then this news come to you and people respond differently. I just completely went off the deep end, and what I fixated on to get me through it. I didn't have any of the coping skills. I had zero coping skills. I had zero resiliency skills. I'd come at this tragedy from a place of weakness. I'd already told myself I would only be okay if my husband came home. So I'd already set my mind, right, to believe that you'll only be okay if he comes home. Like I'd never prepared myself for the possibility that he wouldn't, and taken that step to protect my children from the mom who would break. So I already met that from a place of defeat, which is not a good place to meet tragedy from, and trauma. To come at it from a place of defeat is really not your best option, but that's how I did it. So I already went down. So what my resiliency skills were able to do to hang on at that time out of desperation was to just focus on revenge. I was like, I can't deal with the pain. I cannot deal with this pain. I was suicidal. I'm sitting there holding the pills, the whole thing, almost did it. And then I just said, no, if I have to live through this, I'm going to live for revenge. I'm going to live for my kids and revenge. And so then I did it again. I placed my well-being on an outcome I had no control over again, because I thought I'd get to see this guy die. But instead, I watched him acquitted 3.5 years later, I watched him walk out of the courtroom a free man after 3.5 years of, various levels of hell. So,
but didn't he plead guilty?
Which I found out after the acquittal. We saw this case kind of going down the toilet all along, but you're dismissed. You're dismissed as the grieving widow, just this young mom who's angry and devastated, and you can't really know what you're talking about, right? The people don't really give what you're saying much weight. So when I say, hey, the military judge has done this and that, oh, you must be mistaken, you must be wrong. I say, oh no, this happened, that happened. But I started doing my own investigating along the way. I started because we knew that we were not being told the full truth. We knew that something wasn't right. And
how hard was it? I just
had a bad feeling.
How hard was it to get information from military?
I wasn't getting it from the military as an institution. I was getting it from people, from some CID agents, a little bit that the attorneys would give me. But I got most of the information after the trial, when it went so terribly awry. Along the way, I studied. I wanted to be taken seriously, so I got my master's in criminal justice, so I would have a little more credentials and believability behind me, and so that maybe I could understand a little bit about what the hell had just happened to all of us, But then I was doing interviews and research. I was reaching out to panel members. I got some panel members in the military panels called a jury, and I got them to tell me what happened in the jury deliberation room, which is a clear violation of chain of command. The colonel that was the forewoman, she used her chain of command to intimidate jury members into sitting down and shutting up, which is literally what she told them. I mean, one thing after another. So I found out like the day after the acquittal that, oh, hey, about 1.5 years ago, he offered a guilty plea and the military rejected it and suppressed it. In the military, here's the kicker, right? In the civilian world, you can submit a guilty plea and say, like, you're not really admitting guilt, so to speak. You're just saying, I don't want to take my chances with the jury. So I may not necessarily say that I'm guilty. And the attorney may not necessarily believe that you're guilty, but they may just say, as I heard one attorney say to his clients, sometimes you just got to eat a shit sandwich and take the guilty plea, even if you didn't do it, right? I've heard that said as well. But in this case, in the military, your attorney and you, if you're a member of the military, you are not allowed to submit a guilty plea unless you believe in the guilt. So that attorney believed in his client's guilt, and that client, Alberto Martinez, he was a supply sergeant, knew he was guilty and submitted the guilty plea, which should have been enough for the military to say, I'm going to take this guilty plea. What I found out after the fact, when I did my studying, when I went to another court martial, I watched the whole thing. I consulted with government experts. Like, I didn't just Google a fucking article and learn this, right? Like, I went there, I dove in. And so I learned that you should really never really trust a jury. If you have the plea in hand, it's the safest bet is to take the plea and get a conviction to some sort. So I was just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I was told by the person who gave me this plea, then I can't say who that was because it's not fair to that person who gave me that plea, that, this officer that you're about to meet with in an hour or two, because I came back to Fort Bragg. We were having a meeting. We weren't letting this go. And I knew that this officer, high-ranking officer that I was about to sit next to in a meeting, I knew that he had a copy of that plea deal in his briefcase. When I was here he is, here I am, I'm sitting right next to him. I can feel the copy of the plea like burning at me, in the briefcase. I had a copy of the plea in my folder next to me, and nobody knows that I have it. None of them know that I have it. And so I look at him as I'm just letting them talk and letting them explain away. There was supposed to be a separate trial on charges that were severed. If this one went awry, I said, well, why not try him on these separate charges now? One thing after another, like one line after another after another. And then finally I looked at them and I said, okay, well, how about this one? I heard that, he had submitted a guilty plea last April. What happened to that? What do you think they said to me?
He didn't.
What guilty plea?
Yeah, we have no record of that.
You must be mistaken. And at that moment in that time, like that's when I was like, all right.
That's when you heard.
Yes. That's when I heard that. I was like, all right, so this is how it's going to go. You know, I knew that they just wrote it all off. I knew.
But then you pulled it out and they heard.
Yes. When I gave the plea to the New York Times and it ran on the front page.
So you would think like, well, boom, there's the bombshell and now everything's back.
You would think.
Still acquitted.
Yeah. Once he's acquitted, double jeopardy, you can't come after him for anything, right?
Did he have high-ranking friends and family or something?
So, I mean, I can speculate. I can't prove anything, so I'm not going to get into all the things that I think might have happened because...
Well, I want to, though.
Okay.
Because something has to have happened. Like, you know, the military's not just out to save its right. own. Like there's more stories of people getting wrongly accused than this, I think.
Right.
So like they're out to whack you if there's whacking to do. So somehow this guy got away with murder.
Literally. So he was the supply sergeant of the unit. And Phil was the commanding officer. Phil was a West Point guy. Martinez was National Guard guy. And Martinez hated Phil, and Phil was running out of patience for Martinez. Martinez was losing items from supply. He was just bad at his job, and he was just a bad
losing items.
Losing items.
What kind of items?
Night vision goggles, supplies, printer, whatever was in supply, he was losing. And it turned out
losing it.
Yes. But then it came out he was selling some of those items on the black market in Iraq, and
that's what he was doing.
And so,
Allegedly.
I believe that it got deeper than that, right? And so some high-ranking officials were either complicit in it, benefiting from him selling the supplies, or B, it was just going to be their ass on the line if it came out that under their command, this had been going on, you know? And so they buried it. He did come down the first time he was arrested, and CID messed up that arrest, and they threw out his statement and all sorts of things happened. He did come out, Martinez came out and said, if I go down, I'm taking other people with me. And I think right there is the whole key to it. I think he wasn't full of shit. I think there were other people that were going to go down with him. If he went down, he was going to spill and talk about everybody who was complicit in that, you know. But along the way in the trial, like one of the people who was originally the head prosecutor, well, she was having an affair with a married CID agent who was the lead agent, special agent in charge, which I didn't put in my book or anything like this because I didn't want to detract from, I wanted to like stay mission focused, right? But there was all that stuff going on, and the defense knew how to use it. So they were in the military. That's a crime, by the way. You're not allowed to, the fuckery is a crime in the military, right? Like they frown upon that. You can kill someone and get away with it, but he'd get into trouble if he slept with somebody like outside of marital confines in the military. So, and that's just how it was then. I'm going to stop here for a second because it does sound like I'm a little bitter against the military. So I need to preface it with saying it's the opposite. I think this stuff needs to come out and people need to be educated, because if people were made aware of cases like this and you had to recognize the warning signs and there were protocols and policies put in place, if they applied the FBI's own workplace violence prevention strategy to the military, my husband would be alive today, and so would Phil. So would about a dozen other people who were killed by other soldiers in the cases that I researched and identified, and I found all these warning signs, very easily identifiable, right? Mike Martinez threatened to kill the commanding officer hundreds of times, threatened to kill him. Not even like, oh, I might just get that guy one day. Literally said, I'm going to frag that motherfucker. All the way up to the Inspector General office of that unit. But nobody took it seriously. They all said he was just venting, but they all distanced themselves from him. They all said, this guy isn't right. You know, I'm going to stay away from him for a little bit. But nobody thought to tell Phil that his life was being threatened by the supply sergeant. And that's because I think if they thought that he was serious, they would have told him. But some part of them kept them from thinking that an American soldier would actually cross that line, right? Something about him. They all knew Martinez was a screw up, that he shouldn't be there, but there was still something that said, no, that code, that military code of camaraderie and brothership, he won't cross that line. So that's what needs to be discussed in the military a little more, because I was hearing from a lot of people who served who were like, well, you know, I used to sit up all night and wonder about this guy coming after us too. You know, it happens. The people in the military are people. and they need to be policed, and you need to protect them from one another, just like they need to be protected from other outside sources. So, it's just a mess all the way along. I could go on and on about all the things that went wrong in the case, but some things CID agents did or said, or it's really complex, very complex to explain. But I think the judge, like, things happened I couldn't understand along the way. The main judge recused himself just before trial, and the United States Army chief trial attorney, who was presiding over cases at Gitmo, like the top trial attorney in the entire United States Army, appointed himself to this case. Why? It makes no sense. And then he torpedoed it.
Sounds like maybe your husband stumbled into a ring.
He could have.
Illegal ring. Just listening to it, like, I'm thinking, number one, do you have the movie rights to this?
Do I have the movie right? Yeah. I mean, and it's been mentioned before, but nobody ever does it, right?
But that's a great movie. That's a great movie. And not only that, I know that you started, raising money to make sure more people are aware. You've got the Great American Summit coming up in Dallas. Well, Irving, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Irving, Texas, January 7th and 8th.
January 7th and 8th.
And people can go buy tickets, by the way, folks. If you guys are a patriot in any way, or you're just, really worried about the freedoms that we're getting, because you've evolved that into just basically freedoms. Like, our freedoms are being taken slowly. Any patriotism at all is frowned upon. The other day I'm watching the news. I swear the news said it. I don't know if I told a few people, they're like, no, it said terrorism. And one of them was basically patriotism, saying the word patriotism. If you believe Trump's election was what do you call it? Stolen. That's terrorism. I was thinking to myself, who makes this shit up anymore? Our freedoms are being, I believe, slowly removed. And so do you, correct?
I do.
So if people are listening to this and they want to help in any way, they can go to greatamericansummit.org and donate $5, $50, $500, doesn't matter. You guys are trying to raise $150,000, but I think my listeners could easily donate that, even if all of them put up $1. So again, I mean, I believe I have a lot of, they're called the bomb squad. I have a lot of patriots, a lot of good, people that love the country. But when you hear stories like this, it's like, because I'm all for military, but guys, there's deceit and crooked shit going on at the government level, in the military, in the police forces, in schools, Catholic churches. I mean, dude, imagine being an altar boy and having the freaking pastor, or no, is it priest?
Priests and pastors, yeah.
Yeah, the priests, dicking you, and then nobody believing you. Hey, the priest is, touching my potty spot, and no one believes you. And then come to find out it's real. And then what does the Catholic Church do?
They relocate them.
They relocate them and say, shh, like, dude, right there, boom, done. Lift the veil of non-taxable, like, eliminate the whole ability. Like, we shouldn't allow that. To me, it shouldn't be allowed at all, especially when it comes to kids. That's my soft spot. Like, don't mess with the children. So, but then again, I'm sure you have a soft spot for your husband. How was he murdered?
So Lou and Phil were in the office, and they were on base in Tikrit, Iraq. And the base, ironically, is called Fob Danger, which I didn't like. But so they were in Phil's
Forward
office.
Operating Base?
Yeah. And the office was on the first floor, and Martinez went outside the window. So say Lou and Phil were sitting at a table right there, and I'm at the window right here. Martinez came to the window outside, and he attached a claymore mine to the window, and then he detonated it and threw some grenades to make it look like an enemy attack. And what a claymore mine is, for people who don't know, I mean, I got into this. I used to carry a fake claymore around into like Fox News and give demonstrations. And like, that's how far I went, right? But a claymore, it is a ambush weapon, and it reads front toward enemy. On the front of it says front toward enemy. It's an Apers mine. and it explodes 700 steel ball bearings out of it. At the distance, it hits like almost as far as a football field, and it goes about 4,000 feet per second. I mean, it's a kill zone. And he detonated that this close to Lou and Phil on the other side of the wall. Phil died instantly, really, but Lou was conscious for a couple hours. And so, over the weeks and months, information dripped out to me over his last moments and all that stuff. So, it's just like trauma upon trauma upon trauma upon trauma to hear it. But that's what he did.
And nobody thought that was odd that a Claymore went off through a window towards two people.
At first, they didn't know. It took them like through the night, like immediately when they got to scene, because grenades had also exploded. They thought it was a mortar attack because the Iraqis had been trying to mortar the base. So they just assumed, because who would go there, right? Like, who would think, oh, hey, maybe that wasn't a mortar. You're so used to hearing mortars. You're in Iraq. Like, oh, that must have been a mortar attack because other grenades went off as well. So, that was close. And this time they got two of our guys, but only when CID came the next day as a routine look over the scene, they were like, oh, that's not a mortar right there. And that looks different. And, oh, we better check this out. So it was really, the next day before they.
And was Martinez arrested?
He was arrested. I found out at the cemetery a week later. I found out that Martinez had been arrested. I got in the car after the graveside.
So what did you think at first?
When they told me he was arrested?
No, that your husband had passed, and they didn't say he was murdered. They said
he was killed in his sleep, and I knew that wasn't true because he was supposed to call me the night before, and he was on base and he had access to it. And I knew I had this feeling, I don't know where you are on all this, but I had so many experiences the day before where I was just sick. And part of me knew that my husband was dead before my doorbell rang. And sometimes I get a little emotional, so I'll try to like keep that at bay here. But I talked to my husband on video chat the day before with my 4 kids with me, and he was going to video me again later that night to find, and it was easy for him too, and he always did it. So, but about like 2:00 that afternoon, or like 1:00, he tried to call me, and I missed his call. I missed it, because I was in bad service area and I couldn't get his call. And then I was like, I got to get home, and I'm driving home, and I had this feeling like we were in my town. I was driving back I was about maybe 20 minutes from my house, and I just felt, first I thought I saw him walking down the street. I was like, well, that's weird. And then it was more like I felt him, and it was more like I almost saw him sitting in the car next to me with his face like white as a sheet, like white. And he was looking at me, and I just felt like he was there saying, oh shit, to me. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, am I losing my mind? And I race home, and my babysitter's like, Lou tried to call you about an hour ago. I'm like, I know. He tried to call. And I'm waiting and I'm turning my computer up so I wouldn't miss that, beep that used to give when someone was online. And 5:22 p.m., I'm feeding my kids their dinner, and I'm leaning over to give my son something. And I literally felt like someone punched me right in my gut. Like I actually fell on the table for a second, like out of nowhere. Right. And I was like gasping for breath. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is happening? And I knew it then, I was like, oh man, like, no, and I was up all night waiting for my husband to pop in, and I'm messaging him, Lou, where are you? Nothing. And then my doorbell rang.
What time was that?
6 a.m. And I heard him on the front steps, and the doorbell rang, and there's these people.
Why would they come at 6 a.m.?
That's like their time. They weren't going to come in the middle of the night. And I mean, there's really no good time to come, right?
Yes, there is.
You could come at 4:00, you could come at 6:00, whatever time you come, you don't want them to come, right?
I know, but
I hear you.
No, I mean, like, let you get up and get your kids ready and relax.
Well, because they also can't confirm that it's not going to come out on the news, that that word isn't going to come out, and they want to tell you. So I know some widows who found out on the news. They
Because
saw
if
a
someone's
crash.
knocking at your door at 6 a.m., that's not good news.
No, right. And so, and I knew it, and I just, I mean, it's awful.
When you opened the door and you saw him, did you break down immediately?
I actually flew back into the wall and dropped onto the ground. And so I was not the vision of strength. There was nothing stoic about me. I was so insecure about so many things. I had no self-esteem. I had taught myself that I wasn't strong enough to handle anything. I could only handle things if Lou was there. Like Lou, I lived to be his wife. I lived for it. I loved him. And I knew everything would be okay as long as I had Lou. And I was like just starting to feel a little bit of moxie on my own. Like I'm going to get through this deployment, but I knew that I could call him, and knowing that you have someone to call and talk to you, you're not alone. He's going to raise these kids with me. I can do this for 6 months, you know? And I just said, I even said to him before he left, I said, you better not. I knew him, and I knew that he would literally take a bullet for someone. I just knew he would. And so I warned him. I'm like, I know you, and I get where you're coming from. I'm like, but I don't need you to be a hero. I'm like, I don't need a dead hero. I need my husband here. My kids need their dad. I'm like, so you may think that you're making that decision to save someone else. I'm like, but you don't have the right to make that decision for me and your boys. I say no. I say we need you. Like, this is who I was. What a piece of shit I am, right? But
no,
that's who I was. I was a piece of shit. I was like, no. I'm like, I need you more than they need you. I have 4 kids here. I can't raise them without you. I'm like, not only that, I have no interest.
Why do you think that's
no interest
being a
in
piece of
raising
shit?
them. It's sort of a piece of shit. It's sort of self. That's like me saying, all right, Brad, me looking at your wife, right? Like, you know, if it comes down to Lou or Brad, I think Brad should die. You know, like, who does that? I'm just like,
everyone.
I don't know.
It's the truth.
I don't know. So, but look, imagine I also put that on his head, right? I told
that's
him.
everyone. You shouldn't feel bad about that. That's everyone.
Okay, I won't feel bad.
Like if someone
about
just said, hey, your daughter can die or you can die. Well, I'm picking you.
Right.
That's just the truth. Now, that's only because my daughter ain't going anywhere. But I see what you're saying as far as how that sounds. But I think that's anybody.
Yeah.
Like anybody. Especially when it comes to family. Like that's your husband. Father of your kids.
Instinct.
You shouldn't feel bad about thinking that.
I know.
Anyone would think that.
Maybe.
Right now, people would think it.
Right now, people would, yeah, probably.
If someone said, hey, and there's a lot of people that like me, maybe some that don't, but most do. If someone said, hey, your husband or Bradley gets the axe, I'm going to get a freaking apology card sent to me because they're going to pick their husband.
Right.
They're going to pick their son. They're going to pick their wife. Everyone's going to pick their own.
I know, but you'd like to think whatever. You would like to think that you're not going to play God, that you're like better than that. But mostly it was, I came at that, like I had already told myself that I'm done. If anything bad happens, I'm done. And so when something bad did happen, I was done. Like, because I'd already told myself for a year and a half that if something happened to Lou, I was done. I
temporarily
was done. But the carnage that I wreaked in my life for those years, the things that I let happen to myself and to my children, because I didn't believe that I could do it, because I went into the victim mode. You know, you're called for 3.5 years, I was called the victim in the military. Here comes the victim. Here comes the victim. Here comes the victim. So I was like, yeah, I'm
while
a victim.
It was going on in trial or something?
Yeah. You know, here comes the victims. Here's the victims. Here's the victims. I was a victim. And so I was like, I'm a victim, you know? And when you tell yourself you're a victim, you behave like a victim, you get victimized. And that's what I did. I was a professional victim. That was my role. But
there's a lot of people out there and they didn't have anyone die that are playing that role right now.
Right.
In business, entrepreneurship.
In life in general, there's a lot of people who just convince themselves that nothing that happens to them is their fault. It's not my fucking fault. It's not it's not your fault that this guy beat you. And it's hard to leave. But if you let him continue to beat you, he will continue to beat you until you die. And that's your choice. And until you acknowledge the fact that you're actually allowing that to happen, it's harsh. Like nobody has the right to do that. Like, it's not your fault he's beating you, but it is your fault he's beating you because you allow it to happen. I allowed people to victimize me for years and it made me sick. But
it changed you.
That's the mindset. It did. It changed me for the worse at first. And now
you don't know that.
Hard.
You just maybe
in the
had
long
to go
term,
through
it changed me for the better. Yeah. Unfortunately, I was a slow learner. Like I was stubborn, right? There's a difference between persistence and stubbornness, right? Persistence is for the greater good.
It's also easier
Stubbornness
to
is
play
not.
the victim, isn't it?
It is easier to
It's
convince
just like
yourself
we were talking about
you're
in
the
the green
victim.
room.
Yeah.
It's easier just to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. And well, I can't do this. What do they say? The enemy you know is better than the enemy you don't, right? So I was familiar with that enemy. I knew how to be a victim. I knew how to plaster a face on, but then it got so bad that it was time to change, So that person's gone, but I had to go through a lot and I'm okay going through that. But the fact that I took my kids on that ride it didn't have to be, they didn't deserve that, but they are who they are now. And they're good dudes.
So you're using that strength that you found, which is good, to help bring and shed light on other families, other situations. Apparently this isn't as rare as people think it is.
The phrase I heard so often was isolated incident. And I finally got to the point, I'm like, one more person calls this an isolated incident, because my husband and I followed a case in March 2003, Sergeant Hassan Akbar in Kuwait threw grenades into tents of sleeping soldiers. As the soldiers ran out, he shot them. And my husband and I followed that case. And my husband was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why didn't anybody shoot that guy right there? Like, I can't believe this happened. Nobody's fragged anyone in the military since Vietnam. And we followed every detail of that case. And Hassan was just convicted a couple months before my husband was killed. And then I'm going to digress for a second, but this is a good point. When this happens to you, you're like, who do I turn to? Like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to go through a military court-martial process. I don't know how to do this. And, it's always good to find somebody who's been through what you're going through or has gone through. And there are a lot of people that are convinced or they convince themselves that nobody's going to mentor them. I can't find a mentor for this, but the power of mentorship is game changing. A mentor will change the game for you. And you need to do whatever you can do to get yourself in front of that mentor. And there's no excuses. I found a mentor for that particular situation. My husband was murdered by another soldier. I was going to go to Kuwait for a hearing. I was going to go to Fort Bragg for all these hearings. And I found a mentor in Terry Seifert, whose husband was one of the victims of the case that my husband and I had followed. And she called me and talked me through what it's like to be a widow in the criminal justice system in the military, specifically where I would be. So that pulled me together, that saved me. So I always emphasize the power of finding who mentored you. You had a mentor at some point.
Not really. I
no
mean,
mentors in your life. Not one.
Not really. I say not really because not official, but I learn from everyone. So I'm always learning. I've learned from my dad, my grandpa, my uncle, all my clients, my kids, coworkers. Like I learn from you. I'm learning I'm always learning. So I think everyone kind of mentors me, but from a official standpoint, never had one.
Never in business, never like, hey, how do I cut this? Oh, you're just a natural closer.
No, I would say I'm a natural idiot, meaning it's foolish to do that. Matter of fact, I just finished my book not too long ago, The Hard Way, Lessons I Learned the Hard Way.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that thing months ago.
It's coming. It's out getting printed right now.
All right.
So one of the things I talk about is, seek that information. If I could go back at 18 years old and would have had a different perspective and quit thinking I knew everything and learned everything the way I learned it, shit, I'd probably be a billionaire right now. At least maybe a multi. And then I'd single-handedly fund your whole thing. People ask why I want $1 billion.
To that event.
Well, people ask why I want $1 billion. That's what it's for. Yeah. It's to be able to just go, you know what, here. Mm-hmm. You know what, here. For good reasons, good purposes.
That'd be awesome, right?
Just to give abundantly and still have enough for me. Cause again, like I said, I'm no different. I'm no angel. Like if I had to give everything up to save a bunch of children, I would go without for saving children because I can get it back. But like in general, I want to give abundantly, but have enough for me and mine also.
Well, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So
that's right. And I do give now, but I don't give like, millions and millions of dollars every month. Like I would if I were, Jeff Bezos.
Right.
Can you imagine having that much money?
Yeah.
Because if you can't, you won't.
Right.
So let's get back to what you literally developed into.
Yeah.
So you found the strength and the courage that obviously didn't ever get found out. It's just over, according to the military.
Yeah, they've moved on. Then they won't award my husband the Purple Heart. They said he wasn't killed by the enemy. So, there's all of that, like just constant insult to injury, so to speak. Yeah.
You wrote a book. You wrote 3 books.
I did.
What's your favorite?
I think that's a hard one to say because they all have different places. But what is the most me on point now is this last book I just put out, which is What Not to Wear to a Murder Trial and Other Tips Tragedy Taught Me. And that's literally from the court martial. There was a moment where I walked across the courtroom and alienated the military jury just because of what I was wearing. Right. So that's where that title came from.
What were you wearing?
Well, I was wearing, looking back, it was pretty dumb. I don't know. Like my previous outfit went awry. I was awake all night. I couldn't sleep. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to dress like a girl. I never dressed. My kids used to look at me and be like, "Oh my God, you're trying to dress like a girl. You must be leaving, Mom." Like that's like they knew if I had a skirt on, I was leaving because I never dressed like that. But I had on like this tight black skirt and this like tight red sweater that was like off the shoulders, and my plain black shoes broke. So I had on these stilettos and I was up all freaking night making coffee. I put these curlers I never put curlers, like ever, not before or since, I think. Put curlers in my hair. I don't even know why I had those stupid curlers, but I did. And it's
Are those still around?
2:00 in the morning. And I'm like, you could smell my hair burning. I'm drinking coffee and crying and burning my hair because I had just run on the treadmill. I didn't know what else to do. So I show up to courtroom. I got like this like hair that's like all poofed out. I got on these tight clothes, these giant heels, and I'm tiptoeing. And the jury already didn't like me. And like they literally rolled their eyes at me, and the judge made fun of me a little bit. And I was like, I needed them. I just made it easier for them not to like me. I just made it easier for them to dismiss my husband, So, there was a lesson in there too, but also some humor, right? Like I just like the title. It's just a fun title. So
it is a good title. So you can get that book on Amazon plus her other 3 books. And by the way, if you're already wondering, how do you find her on social media? At Barb Allen Speaks. And by the way, it sounds just like it is. BARBALLEN at Barb Allen Speaks.
Correct.
Right? I don't have my readers on. At Barb Allen Speaks on Instagram. Her website, americansnippets.com. You can go there and check it out. Subscribe to her podcast. Her podcast is good, by the way. I want to talk about this upcoming event, though. You've got Great American Summit.
Yeah.
And if you go to greatamericansummit.com, you can get tickets to go to this, which is basically a patriot rally.
That's sort of what it's turning into, right? It's about, again, patriotism with purpose. We're bringing all these people together. Everybody that's speaking at this event has been on our platform before, and they're patriotic Americans, but it's more than just people coming to speak at you. We're going to just fill that event with people who just love America. We invite people regardless of who you voted for, right? We'd like to see people who don't necessarily agree with us come to this event, because what we're looking for is to remind people that although we have so many things that separate us, the one thing we all have in common is we're Americans. And unless we can just learn to love the country that we're in, it doesn't mean you're saying it's perfect. It doesn't mean you're saying you necessarily love that person next to you, but we all have a right to be here, and we all have a right to live our American dream and build it. But I think we all have a duty. We actually all have a duty to live our American dream.
What gave us that right, Barb?
My husband, people like him, other people like him, gave us all that right. And
that's what I'm getting at. That's right. People have died.
Literally, they have died.
Protecting our freedom.
Yeah. And so the way we honor them is to use the gift that they gave us, which is our freedom, and to help other people achieve that as well. And I think it's a dishonor and a disservice to not only to ourselves, but to those who've served, to not take advantage of that and to work together to everybody can build their own version of the American dream. It's different though. Like we all have that picture in our head. It's just different for everyone. So that's what we're doing at this event. And we're going to actually hook people up with tools they need. And some people are going to get the resources they need right there at that event to just go right off. We're going to follow their path as they build their American dream. But we're going to raise $150,000 to donate to our endowment fund that is going to go out to organizations that we know personally that support our military, law enforcement, first responders, and our at-risk youth. So, we're doing something. We're not the Pineapple Express, right? Like going to Afghanistan digitally and in person to rescue people. But we have our hands, right? And this is what we have in our hands to offer. So these are the tools that we have. We're doing what we can to use our gifts. Our
why
talents,
only
our techniques to do that.
150,000?
Why only 150,000? Wow, you sort of suck, but you're sort of awesome right at this exact moment, because like, I say 150,000, I'm like, whew, yeah, we're going to do it. And you're like, why not more?
Yeah,
See,
but 150.
This is why I love being around people like you, Brad, because people look at us, they're like, who do you think you're going to raise 150,000? I'm like, fuck yeah, we're going to raise 100. And you're like, then you got the real Bradley who's like, why just 150,000? Man.
Well, that's because that's
awesome.
not very much at all. You can raise that just off the bomb squad donating.
Well, awesome, because the more that's raised,
if 1,000 people give you $100, that's $100,000.
Correct.
That's only 1,000 people.
Correct.
We have hundreds of thousands that listen to the show.
Look, I'd love to see that.
And we have a lot of
Love
entrepreneurs that will give more than 1,000 or more than 100. That's 1,000 people giving you $100. Anyone that's a patriot would give you $100. People give people $100 for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Now, again, there's a lot of people struggling. $5 is okay. My call to the bomb squad is, before that event even happens, let's go to greatamericansummit.org and donate 150,000 to you.
That'd be
before the event even happens. Then there's tickets to the event that helps go towards that.
All of it.
And then
pay for
at the event,
and sponsorship. Yeah.
Well, at the event, how are you going to raise 150,000?
At the event itself, after we've already raised?
Or are you going to raise the 150,000 from the event? Shirts, tickets, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah. Come on. That's easy shit. Well, how much are tickets?
We have different ticket levels. They're $197, $497, $1797 for the top tier. And then there's
sponsorship
packages.
It shouldn't be $1797. It should be $1776.
What the hell? Why didn't we think? Okay. Call it up. Change the website. See? It's almost like you're smart at shit, Brad.
Well, 1776 should be the VIP ticket.
Yes.
And I'll bet you could sell at least 100 of those just to the bomb squad. I'll help you reach out to a few people that I know are patriots. They'll definitely buy a 1776 ticket. Who's going to be there?
That's awesome. I guess about this, we can announce the lineup. So Steve Sims, God bless this man. I'm going to start with him because he is someone who has
from London.
Yeah. Literally no reason to have thrown himself in with us, right? But when we first started posting at this event, he reached out to me and he's like, yeah, I'll come. I'm like, God bless you, Steve Sims. And he's ridden with us through this whole debacle, up and down. And now we're so Steve Sims, love him. Larry Broughton, former special forces, now hotelier out in California. He's extraordinary. He's coming. Elena Cardone has said she is going to come.
She's a badass.
I love her. I really do. And I'm not even super tight with her, but I've had enough experiences and moments with her and conversations with her where I just think she's freaking awesome. I'm so excited to have her come. Nick Wojcik. Hello, Nick Wojcik is coming. This event is such a full circle for me. Talk about a good attitude. Personally, as well as professionally.
Who else?
This event. David Webb, Fox News, he's coming. Ryan Weaver, he's a two-time Gold Star. He served actually in the military himself. And while he was in Afghanistan, I think his brother was killed. And then his brother-in-law was also killed serving in duty. And now he speaks out and he raises money and he does amazing things. What? country music and he sings. Yeah. The rest of our lineup, we have people that we're close to locking in. So I don't really want to like come out and say it. Marie Cosgrove, though, she's amazing. Marie Cosgrove, she's another one, story you love. She suffered a horrific life of just things that people would have rolled over and given up over and over and over, abuse and all this. And then she made it in the corporate world. And then she was fired because they didn't want to pay her that much money. They wanted to take her off her commission and put her on salary. They fired her because she said no. And then she built her own company. And then she came back and bought that company that fired her. She's freaking badass. And she's so sweet and so amazing. And I'm super excited to have her a part of this event as well. So these are the people that we have, like good, honest, warm, genuine people. I hear Brad Lee might come speak too, but we haven't locked him in yet, but I think we're going to. And
7th and 8th in Irving, Texas.
7th, and we chose those dates specifically because we all know what's going to happen. We know that we're going to be hearing a lot of whining and fake news about the insurrection anniversary, and Pelosi's going to be out there like talking about us all terrorists who hate our country and try to kill. Oh my God, I can't stand her.
Yeah.
And so
I wouldn't like her if she was Republican.
Right.
She seems wicked.
Yeah.
She seems almost batshit crazy. Have you ever heard that video?
Diabolical, I would say.
Have you ever heard that video where Joe Biden is saying, I can answer some questions if you want, Nancy? And then she goes, are we off the air? And then they go, yeah. And she says, no, we don't want him saying anything. Did you hear that video?
How did I miss that?
Oh my God. It is the most amazing. Like, that's the president of the United States, supposedly.
Right.
Who is she? The Speaker of the House?
I don't know.
Like, what is that what she does?
She's diabolical.
She literally said, no, we don't want him speaking. I'll find it and play it before you leave. It's
cool.
amazing.
I don't know how I missed that one.
Here's what I'm wondering. Do all these, because I have people that follow me from the left. I call them lefties. And then I've got the righties. People ask me what I am. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm not left or right. I'm a little of both. In some cases, I'll consider me left.
Right. In
some cases, consider me right. But really, I'm just a constitutionalist. Is that a thing? It
is a thing, Brad. A lot of people say that we're in the middle too, but I feel like if you're in the middle now, I feel like there's a time where you can be in the middle, but now I think we have to stay right. We have to course correct. We're so far left that we have to course correct.
Who's we? You have a turd in your pocket? Who are you talking about? Who's we?
We the people, Brad. And I know that you say there is no we the people anymore.
There isn't.
Yeah, see, there is.
There is
Look
not.
At your shirt, Brad.
Where are they?
Look at you're
hey,
here.
Hey, listen, this is patriot.
I know.
What's the definition of patriot? Here, let's find out from Siri.
Okay.
What is the definition of patriot?
A person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Do you want to hear the remaining one?
That's me.
That's enough. Yeah, there you go. So there's a lot of us that today,
but it doesn't mean there's a we.
There is. People are coming together.
Okay, let me prove that there's not a we. You ready?
You can try.
And hopefully this will get everyone in the world riled up to prove me wrong, because I'd love to be wrong.
You're wrong. Go ahead.
I would love to be wrong.
Okay.
We, the people, run the country, correct?
In theory. Well,
no.
What do you mean? In positions of power?
We, the people.
Yes,
you say
we, the
there's
people
a we.
are supposed to run the country.
No, you say we do. The Constitution says we, the people.
Yes.
So we, the people, there is no we. The we doesn't exist. It's they and them and he and him and he and her and cowboys and Indians and gay and straight and frickin' they've divided us, black and white, and frickin' they've divided us. There is no more we. If there was a we wouldn't be dealing with the shit we're dealing with right now. Right? Like there's literally part of we have become them. Yes or no? There's people that literally believe you should be vaccinated.
That believe what? That you should be?
That you should be.
Right.
Like forcefully, I mean.
Forced to be vaccinated.
Yeah, like again, if someone says, yeah, I think you should get the vaccine, cool, that's your right. But like forcefully.
Right. Yes, I know there are.
Like there's people that say you should be forced to take that vaccine. Are those we?
Nope. Well, you're correct.
But
for
that
every
means
day,
there's no
a
more we.
For every day, there's a we, right? To the opposing, there's opposing forces. For all of time, there's opposing forces.
Yeah, but
and each of those opposing forces call themselves we.
There's no communication.
There hasn't been, because we got caught off guard. We were complacent. I was complacent. Like none of us saw this coming.
So what should we do if we still exist?
Look, you have a great example today, right here in Vegas. There's going to be on the strip. There's going to be people marching down the street.
See, how do you know that?
The mandates? Because I pay attention. I look for it. Because
where did you learn that?
You're so convinced that there is no we the people. You don't see it.
I've never heard of this.
I believe there is we the people. Haven't you ever heard
here.
the yellow? Right.
I don't even know that's happening.
Because you're not. You got your blinders on.
So where is it happening?
Right in the strip from 4 o'clock tonight. 4
And
o'clock to
how
7
did you
o'clock
know?
tonight. I found it. Where did I see it? The Hodge twins posted this guy's video from speaking at a school board. Go to a school board meeting. Do you ever think school board meetings were going to be the talk of the town? Do you see what parents are coming together to do at school board meetings?
I think more people should.
Extraordinary. They are.
This is where I agree with you. I think everyone individually should get involved, however you believe, at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
Because believe it or not, our vote doesn't count towards president. You know that, right?
That's a whole other.
It's the truth,
whole other bag of words, especially if you're in New York.
I was in a clubhouse room the other day where they were defending our, the right to vote, and there kept being people going, "Dude, you're stupid if you don't vote, and don't come on here and talk about not voting." I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, you can believe whatever the fuck you want. Electors vote for the president and vice president. We do not. Go look at the fucking system.
What is it called when the elector? There's a word for it. When the elector goes against, like the elector is told, "Hey,
it's called
right." You know it is. So when they go against the vote, I can't think of the word.
And it does happen.
There's a word for it. It has happened. I think it happened with Clinton. And I think like one elector.
What is it called when electors do not vote for the constituency?
Here's what I found.
Faithless elector. That's what they're called. Okay. A faithless elector.
Right. Just like that, they could do that.
Well, they can because they get to vote. They vote for the president and vice president of the United States. That's a fact, folks. Go look it up. If you don't believe me, it's the truth. So when you vote for the president of the United States, it is a fucking sham. Why? Because the electors get to vote. Now, supposedly those electors are supposed to listen to us, we the people, and vote however we say, but they don't. They vote however they want. That's yes, they do.
They have gone against the electors, but they don't always.
Go look at their, just like juries.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes juries know the person is guilty, but they cannot say they're guilty because of the instructions they got from the judge to where, hey, he's guilty, but you cannot factor in what he just said because he didn't properly tell us. So forgetting that, and people are like, oh, acquitted. Why? Well, because some stupid fucking rule. But the rule is electors. That's who votes for the president and vice president of the United States. Period. End of story. We do not. If nobody voted, they would still fucking be elected.
Correct.
And if everybody voted, they would still be elected. Our vote doesn't count for the president and vice president. Well, theoretically.
The legislators of the state and the areas determine who the electors are.
That's not true either.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Who picks the electors?
We do.
Who's we?
Whoever you vote for. Like when you go vote next time for a president, you'll see a name in that box. That's the elector.
I don't think so. I think it's the legislators pick the electors.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's ask Siri. Like Siri knows everything.
You need to interview, right?
Who picks electors?
I found this on the web.
She found this on the
web. Are electors chosen? This one's going to need a reader. Here we go. This is how.
Okay.
This is how they get elected. Presidential electors get together in each state every 4 years to cast their votes for president and vice president. See, electors are chosen in processes defined by state law, creating a patchwork of selection processes. In some cases, state laws defer to political party bylaws to define how electors are chosen. So they're chosen differently for each one, for each state.
So complicated.
It is stupid.
And everything is so watered down. So you don't really know where your vote goes or what matters, You just got to proceed on good faith sometimes and believe that whatever you're doing is going to matter. Or otherwise,
in this case, Arizona, it's by state party chair. The state chair for each party with a presidential ticket selects electors prior to the general election. The chair also appoints replacements for elector vacancies. But at the end of the day, by state office holders and candidates, that's what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Florida's the governor elects them. So different, I guess, state to state. However, here is what is true. They decide.
Yes.
They vote, and it is up to them.
Yeah.
It is not up to us. We can all vote one way, and if they wanted to, I'm not saying they do, folks. Everybody calm down. I'm not saying there's faithless electors everywhere. Right. I'm just saying technically, technically it's their vote. It's their vote. Do I think you should vote? Yes, I still think you should go vote. Yes, I think you should go vote for president. Okay. People say, do you vote? I don't vote. Why? Because again, my vote doesn't count. I don't play shit that I don't win. It's stupid. My vote does not count ever in a presidential election. It doesn't. And for me to think it does is stupid. Now, I do believe locally it does count. And locally, the voter does elect or keep from being elected the officials. And I think that's where people should really get involved. School boards, your superintendents of schools, the people that are running your schools, your districts, your communities, your local, state, and city governments. That's where people should get involved right now, like immediately, and start paying attention and literally learn who people are that are running. People vote just because, oh, I'm a Republican, I'm going to vote Republican all the way down the line. Yep. You ever see people do that?
Yes.
There could be asshole Republicans. There could be good Democrats. People are like, oh, can't believe you just said that. Well, again, I don't know for sure because I don't go investigate every one of them. Right. All I know is there could be. I think you should get to know the candidate as an individual, as a person, look at their past, do a little due diligence, and then vote for the best person that you think is going to do the best job to represent you. But then we disagree, which is why I'm saying there is no we, because we don't all agree, and we would have to. When they made the Constitution, we the people was talking about all of us, right? So if all of us were together, that's we. There is no we, because they've divided us. There's no we.
But if the we just roll over and
who's we? There is no we.
It. There is we. Brad, go to the strip at 4 o'clock today, 4 to 7 o'clock today. You're going to see.
That's not we. That's them.
There's pockets of we around the country.
Well, who's deciding who is we?
Together.
The left think we are we, and the right think we are we. Who's we? There is no we.
Oh my God. My head hurts.
We've been divided.
Yes, we have been divided.
Therefore, there is no we, because has to come together.
I don't even know. Who's on first? I don't know.
No, it's we. Okay. We, the people. Are you a person? Are you a person? Am I a person? We, as long as we're together, exist. But as soon as we don't agree, we're no longer we. It's me against you and you against him and him against me. Thing.
You have to be able to look beyond the small ticket items you disagree on. You have to find one common ground. And the one common ground that we, the people, are seeking now is everybody's right to disagree and still be we. Like that's it. You don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah, but that's I agree with you. Again, I wish there was a we. There just isn't. We've been decimated by them and they. Who's they? People always say, who's they?
I know.
Is there no such thing as they? They covered up your husband's murder. They did. Who's they? Whoever did it did. That's who they is, because someone did it. That wasn't an accident. I bet you anything your husband walked into some sort of freaking criminal ring. And like you said, the nut job killed him and the other one because they might have known something.
And my husband was only there for 4 days, but the commanding officer is the one who was chaptering the supply sergeant out and putting an end to it all. So
maybe he was trying to just kill that guy. And
he knew that my husband was coming to replace him and going to work with Phil to chapter him out. So My husband didn't have the full picture yet.
Well, I know
but,
that. I know
but
that.
I hear what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like if the people in the Constitution existed, we would all agree on one thing: freedom. Now, to me, that's a pretty clear and evident threat to our freedom. There is a clear and evident threat to our freedom right now. Right now,
Yes.
it's being ushered in through this COVID bullshit with the vaccine and the passports and the unvaccinated versus the vaccinated and yada, 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 yada. They are using it to further decimate and control the we. And pretty soon, because we don't exist, we are going to be fucking under totalitarian control. And I think we already are, quite frankly.
We are
like
to
a seat
some
belt.
degree. Yeah.
Like a
we are
seat
to
belt.
some degree. And they're squeezing us, right? They're making it hard. And it's a matter of, I'm going to just peck these people off. You know, we're going to put this out there against this wave of the defense for freedom. And then this first line of whatever you want to call them, patriots, are going to fall, right? Because
psychological warfare.
Yeah.
Like militaries have been doing this for years, folks. Like I know people in the military that when they go over to Kandahar or wherever these places are where there's villages and they want to take over that village, they do these psyops where literally they cause dissent. They get them all arguing amongst each other. Then they come in with the solution and it's all planned. It's part of a operation. I think it's happening to us.
Absolutely.
I think, and that's why I'm saying there's no we. Is there a we? Well, of course we exist. We're all here, but there's no we, because the we part is what's missing. Like
It's
right
coming
now,
back. It's coming back.
if we all decided on one thing, we would constitute the we. But if we left here, someone got a hold of you and got you to hate him, and I didn't like him in the first place, and now I'm, against you and secretly against you. There's no we. You can keep saying we're all we, but we're not we. We're all individuals. And that's the problem. We need to come together. Like we need to say, listen, if anyone gets in trouble for not having a vaccine, we will not allow a prosecution.
Yes.
We will not allow quarantines to be built. We will not allow forced vaccinations. We won't allow open borders. Like how come we don't go down to the fucking borders and stop the nonsense? You know what's going on down there?
Some people are going down. Yes.
But do you know what's going on down there?
Bad stuff.
Dude, they're letting people in by the fucking thousands.
Yeah.
And they're worried about COVID. No, they're not.
Right.
How are you letting in so many people? Why? What's the problem with those guys just getting in line and coming in the right way? What's wrong with that? Now, again, people can hate me for thinking this, but I've been in Mexico where I wanted to buy, beachfront property. You can't unless you're a Mexican citizen. You can't buy beachfront property. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I'm not mad at the Mexican government. I'm thinking that's good of them. Like that's smart of you. Like keep it for your country. Well, you can lease it for 99 years and you can get around the rules, but you cannot own it. So all these countries operate the same way. Why are we the bad people all of a sudden if we want to just have closed borders? You can come in right over there, like head right over there. If you climb that fence, you're a criminal. And if you're a criminal, we treat all criminals equally here. You get thrown out or put in jail. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. It's
I've told people,
opposite of what it is, though. Yeah.
Well, I've told people, like, honestly, I'd love to run for president so I could go fix it. But the problem is the presidency can't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Look what happened to Trump. He was in there fixing some shit. And by the way, why are the Democrats so damn powerful? You ever think about that? They won't let us in to watch the tickets and get counted. I'm thinking, well, who are they to stop us? Like, how did the Democrats stop the Republicans? Why are the Democrats the ones in control? I don't understand.
I don't either. That bothered me when the Republicans were told to leave the polling and stop observing it. And they were just like, oh, okay, I guess we'll have to leave. No, you don't. You don't have to leave. They shouldn't have left. But
they were forced out.
Right. But then they got to get more police and force themselves back in or get a judge.
But that's
or
the
an
thing.
attorney
Like who's in control here? Obviously the Democrats.
I know. And we let it happen because we got complacent.
So to you, we are the Republicans.
No, we are Americans who allowed ourselves to be divided. I don't think
let it happen.
We as a people, we as the American people allowed this to happen.
That's because we don't exist.
You'll see, look, everything that you mentioned, the things that have to happen will happen. But what do you think? You're just going to go to bed one night with nobody doing anything and you're just going to wake up and boom, it's all going to happen? Every great movement has to start with a step, right? You have some people taking steps now. You can't look at it just because you say to us, right? Oh, you're only going to raise $150,000, right? Which I love, right? But if we wanted to set a goal of getting to $500,000, if we didn't first believe we could make $150,000, we'd never get to $500,000.
Yeah, but you're going to make more than $150,000. I'll bet you. The bomb squad's going to step up and probably donate more than that even before the event comes. Secondly, if you get around enough people between now and then and you market it correctly, you'll make hundreds of thousands, not 150, like 150. Like shit, I can make 150 downstairs in my room. Matter of fact, here's what maybe I'll do for you. Okay. I'll put on some event downstairs where it costs, a couple $1,000 to come. I'll put 75 people down there and we'll raise your 150.
Beautiful.
So you need to make another 150. Well, cause that's not hard to do. 150 is really a tiny goal.
Okay.
You need to raise your thinking up like $1 million. Now you're talking at least a good sized goal.
Perfect.
You'll make 150. I guarantee you that.
Perfect.
I'll bet you anything you make 150. You'll have people.
I'm not going to bet against us, but yeah.
But you'll have people show up that probably give you the 150. I was at my buddy's event called Thrive.
Yeah.
His name's Cole Hatter. Good dude. Thrive. So we were there. I got one. So I think I donated like 10 G's, and then that inspired my buddy to donate like I think 35 G's, which inspired my other buddy to donate 50 G's, which they started competing.
Right.
They literally raised like $350,000 in 30 minutes on stage. So you do things at that event, 150 is easily going to get knocked out of the park. Mark my words.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And
Bomb Squad, listen up. You guys got to freaking go to GreatAmericanSummit.org and just donate 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks, $100, $1,000. Show her what we can do, because the Bomb Squad, if there's a we, it's we.
There is a we.
It's funny too, because I used to go to this movie theater and there was a I don't know the political way to say mentally challenged. Is that how you say it?
That's good enough.
So a mentally challenged guy was taking tickets, and I love the guy. And every time I'd walk up, he'd go, "And how are we?" That's all he'd say, and take your ticket. And if you didn't answer him, he wouldn't give your tickets back. He'd grab them, "And how are we?" And then you'd say, "We're good." And he'd go, "Enjoy your movie." And if you didn't say anything, he'd go, "And how are we?"
That's great.
It was hilarious. It was awesome. But the only reason I say there's no we is because collectively we're fragmented. We're separated. We're at odds. And it's been, in my opinion,
right now, yes.
100% right now. And I think it's on purpose. Mm-hmm. I think they are punking we. And what's crazy is they are this big compared to we. But we are literally marching right into all their stupidity.
Right. But we are figuring it out.
Look in Australia. Look in Australia. How many politicians are in Australia? Not that many.
I can't believe what they're doing over there.
I know, but there's not that many politicians, but yet they are controlling millions of people because they don't have any weapons.
Right.
And because there's no we over there. So if all the people just stood up and just said, "Y'all are being eliminated. We need new people. Who wants to run?" Right. That would all be over.
You're seeing people step up and run now. You're seeing people.
Yeah, but you're seeing
candidacies.
I know,
candidacies, whatever.
But you're seeing law enforcement, military,
right,
play the part where I don't worry about it. Very informal.
He yells at me when I do that.
Here's my thing though. If I ever get real active, here's who I'm reaching out to.
Yeah.
Military. I'm reaching out to law enforcement. I'm reaching out to the people that are enforcing the rules. So let's call them law enforcement.
Yeah.
National Guard, Coast Guard, military, anybody that's got weapons and they enforce this shit. State police, police officers, sheriff departments all over this great nation. Those are the only people stopping this bullshit from happening. And those are the only people that are freaking allowing this bullshit to happen. Now, why do I say that? Because if you're a law enforcement officer and you are enforcing this fucking stupidity, shame on you. And you don't want to lose your job.
Yeah.
But guess what? If all of you said, fuck you, governor, you don't get to make the laws. Because you know what's crazy about this? And this is the truth. You can look this up. Governors cannot make the law. A mandate is a suggestion. The only fucking shit a mandate covers is the executive branch in the government, meaning they can make their staff do something. They cannot make their people that they're governing do anything. It's a suggestion, just like a stop sign in a private parking lot. You think you have to stop there? You don't.
It's optional.
It is. It's a suggestion.
Yeah.
They want you to stop. So they put up a stop sign and guess what people do? They fucking stop. But they don't have to stop and they cannot get a ticket for not stopping. So like this is that. So to me, it's like I can go try to rally all my friends who are just like me, can't really freaking do much. Well, we can speak up. Yeah. And we can also get silenced. We can also get arrested. We can also get shut down. Or we can talk to the people that are enforcing, because enforcement is the key. If you stop enforcement, the rest of them are just, toothless vipers.
Toothless vipers. Yes, but you also have to show up together en masse. It can't just be
I agree.
you, Bradley. Hey, Mr. Officer, I don't really like what's happening here. And the officer's like, well, I haven't heard anybody else complain, so suck it up, Bradley. But
Well, still a shitty officer.
But if 5,000 people show
look
up
at the
to the one
law.
officer and say, hey, this is just right here in Las
Barb,
Vegas.
it shouldn't be people's opinion. Like, in other words, if a million people thought it was wrong, but it's the law, it's the fucking law. Change the law.
They're lobbying to change the law. Yes.
So go lobby to change the law. I'm fair as they get. But when I don't know about America so much, but in Paris, I saw videos of these people shopping without a passport, and like a whole group of police are clobbering a woman. Mm-hmm. Did you see it?
Yes,
and that's another thing.
I also saw another video after that where there were so many people that showed up in Paris to shop at the mall that the police had to leave because we, the people in France, outnumbered the enforcers. And that's how they got their point across.
Yeah, but those enforcers should have joined the people in the first place.
Totally agree.
So that's all I'm saying. Like let's stop the madness and let's just talk to our law enforcement and our military and simply say, observe the law. They were sworn to uphold the Constitution, Barb.
Right.
Go look at the Constitution. The Constitution says we have the rights to do this shit. You cannot make me get a fucking vaccine.
Correct.
And as soon as someone says, okay, you're correct. Okay, then that's the end of that. Vaccine passports. If that's not discrimination, I don't know what is. A boss can't get a girl or a guy to fuck them without being illegal, but they can make you fucking take a jab. That is the same thing, if you ask me.
Or you're
fired. Should be illegal. Exactly. Right. Listen, you don't want to get a jab, don't get a jab. You can't force someone to freaking do shit they don't want to do. That's America. And that's why I wear a shirt called Patriot, because I am prepared to defend. But there's nobody running up and hurting people. Otherwise, I think there's more patriots out there than you think. You're one, aren't you?
I believe I am.
David, you're one. I'm one. I know my buddies are. I know a lot of people that are. And I think they're like me. There's not enough going on to get all freaked out about.
Well, you're saying that because you're a little insulated here, right?
Could be.
For the moment, anyway, you've worked your ass off and you've built yourself an ivory tower that you and your family and your people are safe in for the time being.
We're not safe.
For the time being. You're safe from these mandates. Nobody's coming to you and saying, Brad, if you don't get this shot, then you're out of it. Then you can't work anymore. Brad, if you don't get this shot, your paycheck stops. And you're not living paycheck to paycheck, And I'm not going to get into the right or wrong or why they're there in the first place, that they shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck. But that's the fear. So now you have these people who are not going to be able to provide for their families. And that's a scary place to be. I've been there. I know it. I know what it's like to not know how you're going to pay your mortgage. I know that. So now you get this job.
There are a lot of companies that will hire
people,
those people.
Correct.
No, if
when
you're
looking at the situation yourself, I'm not saying it's right.
You're sliding back into
it.
victim mentality right now.
I'm not defending it for me. I'm saying this is where their mindset is. This is where their mindset is. It's hard for people who haven't been forced off the edge before, who haven't been forced to leap into the unknown.
But we need to help them by showing them that they're playing victim.
Yes.
Like, I work at a casino. They're making me get a mandate, or they're making me get a shot. They're not making you. They're telling you that if you don't, you're not going to work for them. So fucking what?
I think there's
how many companies, I'm a company that will hire a non-vaccinated person. If you're a good individual that you don't want to get a jab, you can come work for Lightspeed. I have many friends of companies that will give you a job. I'll refer you.
Where's a list of those? Is there a website with a list of those companies? Of course there is. And
if there isn't, it's going to be at greatamericansummit.org.
Yeah, there you go. Is there a website that says, here are the companies that will hire
Andy Frisella,
you
First
without
Form.
vaccinated?
I heard him the other day. He will hire.
I think Grant said that too.
Grant will do it. Yeah. There's a lot of people that will do it. So anybody go, I'm not feed my family. You're being a victim.
Right.
Okay. Don't let that happen to you, folks. I'm looking at her, but I'm talking to you. Because to me, like if I were going to come speak at this event, I'm wondering like, what do I speak about? Cause like, I'm no military guy that went out and did something heroic and, stand up for your rights.
No, but it's not just about that, Brad.
But this is what I'm thinking. I can come talk about that. Like, dude, don't be scared.
Yes.
Of not having a job.
Yes. So why don't you come help explain to people how they can leap out of that? Give them some examples of how they can
add
sit
Brad
in
Lee
their
to your
living
list.
room. Yes.
I'm committing.
There you go.
I'll be there.
How can people sit in their living room and take a course and study and learn and come find people like you that can work? Because it's one thing for me and Dave to go out there and say, hey, people, we the people. You don't have to take that. You can quit your job and find another way. Say how. I'm like, how?
I'll show
Bradley's the guy that's got these answers for you. He knows how to do that. So we're going to inspire people to be like, hey, I'm going to think about taking this leap with you. But Barb, can you help me figure out where I'm going to land? Because I got 4 little kids here and they have to eat. And my grandmother's on oxygen in the room and she needs her oxygen. Yeah. Bradley has all these ideas and tried and true methods. He's done this shit before. He's got a network. Here's people who can show you how to build something from nothing. You can do it. So that's what we need, Brad. Exactly it. It's one thing to light the fire, but it has to be lit with a purpose. There you go.
Yeah. And you can mark me down on your roster. I will be there.
You're on our
7th
roster,
and
Bradley.
8th. And I will get you a few other people if you need them.
Yes.
You want more speakers.
We want more speakers.
Yeah. And then when are you going to start marketing for this?
About 2 weeks when our website is up.
Okay. So by the time this episode drops, it'll be up. If the Bomb Squad has one patriotic bone in their body, if you're listening to this episode and you're not already planning on going and donating before the event even happens, well, then at least do me a favor and come to the event, buy a ticket. I'll be there. Lena Cardone will be there. Nick Javoyek. Voyajek.
Good enough.
Voyajek.
I practice that a lot.
Yeah. A lot of good people there. A lot of military people. And again, patriots, people that are more concerned about freedom than diversity.
But we're not going to just come preach about freedom. We're bringing people like you, Brad, which is exactly it. To show you what to do with that. Okay, I want to be a part of it. I want to be independent. I want to be untouchable from all of this. How can I do that? I don't have the answers to that at the moment, but you do. Your buddies do. All these people that are coming, Steve Sims, Larry Broughton, they know how to do that. I love Steve Sims. Yeah.
I wish he wouldn't have said, because I would have got him too. So I'm going to get a few people that are coming with me.
Perfect.
I'll start DMing you or texting you.
Perfect.
And we'll get a couple people.
Perfect.
Good people that are like Andy Frisella. I'm going to get Andy to go.
Great. And if you knew what this was, 10 years ago, I'll stop talking. I know I'm blabbing. We're probably 500 hours over on this podcast, but
19 minutes, but don't worry about it.
If you knew like 10 years ago, I was literally on my driveway in a heap, like totally worthless, broken, crushed, made such a shit show of my life and my kids' life, thought I was just totally worthless. And I was literally starting from not even just with nothing, but less than nothing if you could. So if you could see that person 10 years ago on her driveway, like in a freaking total puddle heap, I had made just destroyed everything. To know that this person could be sitting here right now in your studio with Bradley talking about raising more than $150,000. Like, I didn't believe in myself then. And I think that is such a gigantic thing. Nick Vujicic is someone that I watched and studied and learned from, and he mentored me from afar. And now he's going to speak at my event, right? Marie Cosgrove, all these people. It is such a full circle moment for me to hear you say this. So I'm saying this because I want to thank you for that, because you just gave me another moment where I just reached back and saw myself 10 years ago and was like, this is why you got up. Like, that's why I got up. I needed a reason to get up 10 years ago. This right here today is one of those reasons that I got up 10 years ago. So thank you for that. I am like just so excited and happy to be a part of it. And I'm so fucking glad I got back up.
And
So
this is why
thank you.
everyone should get back up, and you're welcome. And I'm
Super
telling
cool.
you,
See, I get all emotional. I do.
well, watch when you, at the end of that event, when you've raised far more than 150,000.
To think that I could be a part or a catalyst for having that impact is
I think this is just
Crazy.
the beginning, Barb.
crazy.
Usually, I don't know why, but when people get on dropping bombs, their careers take off. Even though you've already written 3 books. By the way, folks, she's written 3 books. Go buy her books on Amazon. What are the names of the 3 books?
First one is Front Toward Enemy.
Front
It's all
Toward
about
Enemy.
My husband's case and the murder. That's a rough read. I was of the belief at the time that if I could make people feel my pain and hurt with me, they would care. But who the fuck does that? Am I going to put your hand on the stove and you're going to be like, yeah, Barb, give me more, right? Like no, you get your hand off the
Yeah,
stove.
but there's
you run
people
away.
that like to read details.
Right. So that's a painful book. A lot of people tell me how raw and how hard that is. And
Front Toward
and it is
Enemy.
hard. Front Toward Enemy. The next one's a chick book. I had to fix myself, fix my brain. It's called How to Woo a Widow. I love it. It's like, if you're a chick and you like steel magnolias, you're going to love this book. Like, that's the theme. Like, that's the tone. Yeah. And then he wooed me. And then this one is What Not to Wear to a Murder Trial. Another tips tragedy taught me.
Folks, you heard her. If you want, go show her some support at Barb Allen Speaks on IG. Go to AmericanSnippets.com. Listen to the podcast. She's interviewed tons of people, big people, featured all over Fox News, The Today Show, Army Times, and Taya Kyle's book.
Taya Kyle.
Taya.
She's great. She is her birthday weeks and her son's birthday week. That's why she's not here, but I'll help. She'll be at our event. I told her I'm going to pick her up and drive her to the event. She lives like an hour and a half from it. So Taya Kyle, yeah, she's the widow, the wife of Chris Kyle, the American sniper.
That's another senseless stupidity.
Right. And so who could have thought, like, I found her and we found each other and now we're friends. And like, our husbands were both murdered by other people who served. Like, we went through this court martial. Like, don't tell me it's crap that you can't find a mentor or how weird it is. Your situation's so unique. It's a bunch of bullshit, right? Whatever your situation is, there's somebody else who's done it first. And so Taya and I can connect and relate in a lot of ways. We tell some funny, like dark jokes that we think are fucking hilarious, right? But the rest, you say it out loud and people are like, oh my God, like, sending you to church and shit, right? But you got to find people like that. So she's one of my the people.
GreatAmericanSummit.org.
Yeah.
Or GreatAmericanSummit.com to get your tickets. .org to donate. You don't even need to go to the event. Just donate a little bit of coin, a little bit of cash, or both. Go to the event.com. Let's show her some support. Let's show her some love. Patriots, the call has been placed upon you. I hope I don't look stupid. Like, man, Brad, you ain't got more influence than a pickle. We got $8 donated. Thanks a lot. But anyway, I'll be there. I'll help. And I'm telling you, I'll bring some information to where people won't feel like a victim anymore.
Perfect.
Because nowadays it's not that difficult to work for yourself. Even, in this day and age, all you need is a laptop. So you do need a little something, little internet connection. But man, it's so easy to make money nowadays. Build a personal brand, sell clothes, persuade, market for other companies or yourself. It's so easy to make money. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna figure out another also ways to help you raise money.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys coming in.
I got to get in Pat Hilton as MC. I can't believe I forgot. Don't hate me, Pat.
Pat Hilton's MC.
Pat Hilton's MC.
Oh yeah, that's who. Oh yeah. Oh, Pat Hilton.
Shit, I almost forgot that. Yeah,
I love.
sorry, Pat.
I love old Pat
I
Hilton.
can't believe I almost forgot. I'm
Pat
what am I
Hilton,
forgetting?
everyone.
Yes, Pat Hilton's
I love his
emceeing.
voice.
He's hilarious.
He sounds like he's a constant DJ.
You cannot not laugh when he's around. Like you just have to.
He's talented too. You ever
Yeah.
hear him sing?
Yeah.
Boy, he don't care either.
He doesn't give. He gives 0 fucks.
There's a guy that I know
Yeah.
named Lee that sings karaoke in
Yeah.
front of anybody. I should bring him.
Okay.
He'll raise money.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna try to bring Andy.
Okay.
Andy Frisella.
Perfect.
He's the perfect guy for you. There's a bunch of them, man. I know a lot of people that think Sean Whalen. There's a Ian Went. There's I'm just thinking like bing, bing, bing. Like everyone would want to go. The question is can they? And even if they can't, be ready to stream. Have a big screen.
Right.
Be ready to pipe them in because there's going to be more people willing to help than you think, especially by January because shit's getting thick. And I think freaking the silent majority that are being silent are starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. And by January, I think you're going to have more turnout than you think. I do appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you.
Folks, you heard it. Share this in case someone else needs to. And as always, keep it real.